All my dear viewers, I hope you all liked my past videos and are useful to you all. Welcome to Srinivasulu Komarashetty tutorials. Before starting with my session, I request all the viewers to watch the video till end. Today, I am going to discuss on the topic capital structure. First, we will try to understand capital structure. Capital structure is the mix of the long-term sources of funds used by a firm. It is made up of debt and equity securities and refers to permanent financing of a firm. It is composed of long-term debt, preference share capital and shareholders funds. The particular distribution of debt and equity that makes up the finance of a company. Restructuring or operations and capital structure will enable the firm to merge as a stronger company. The capital structure is how a firm finances its overall operations and growth by using different sources of funds. Debt comes in the form of bond issues or long-term notes payable, while equity is classified as common stock, preferred stock, or retained earnings. Importance of designing capital structure. Value maximization. Capital structure maximizes the market value of a firm. That is, in a firm having a properly designed capital structure, the aggregate value of the claims and ownership interest of the shareholders are maximized. Cost minimization. Capital structure minimizes the firm's cost of capital or cost of financing. By determining a proper mix of funds sources, a firm can keep the overall cost of capital to the lowest. Increase in share price. Capital structure maximizes the capital market price of share by increasing earnings per share of the ordinary shareholders. It also increases dividend receipt of the shareholders. Investment opportunity. Capital structure increases the ability of the company to find new wealth creating investment opportunities. With proper capital gearing, it also increases the confidence of suppliers of debt. Growth of the country. Capital structure increases the country's rate of investment and growth by increasing the firm's opportunity to engage in future wealth creating investments. Patterns of capital structure. There are usually two sources of funds used by a firm: debt and equity. A new company cannot collect sufficient funds as per their requirements as it has yet to establish its creditworthiness in the market. They have to depend only on equity shares, which is the simple type of capital structure. After establishing its creditworthiness in the market, its capital structure gradually becomes complex. Factors determining capital structure. The capital structure of a business rely on mainly factors such as legal requirements, tax rate, business growth, business size, nature, leverage, etc. The factors that influence the capital structure are described below. Financial leverage. Use of equity and preference share capital as well as long duration debt with fixed interest is known as financial leverage. There will be negative effect of leverage when preferred profits of the business are less than the interest on the long duration loans. Therefore, it is important to plan the structure of the capital of the business. Stability and growth of sales. Stability and growth of sales have a great impact on the structure of the capital of the business. Stability of the sales reflects the business is in good situation and will perform its promises of debts repayment and payment of interest. When sales of a business are assumed to be stable, the business can increase its debt. Similar way, growth in the sales has an impact on the decisions of structure of the capital. Investors' requirement. Capital structure is influenced by the investors' requirements because every business requires funds so as to meet their needs. It is essential for the purpose of satisfying both private and institutional investors by meeting their needs when debt investing is applied. Flexibility. Capital structure of the business should be flexible nature so that it is easy to alter the changing needs. A business should plan its structure of capital in such a method so that one type of financing can be replaced with another. Control. It requirements of funds. Management of the business should try to get funds without sharing its authority over the business. Management should issue debentures and preferences as they do not have any rights to vote. They can also get for debt financing. Size and nature of the business. Capital structure of the business is affected from its size and nature. Structure of the capital will be different for different businesses. Use of debt depends upon the size and nature of the business. Cash flow capability. A business that can produce constant and huge money inflow can make use of more amount of debt in the structure of capital. Capital cost. Capital cost is the minimum return needed by the suppliers of the cost. The return desired by the supplier depend on the risk level they undergo. The structure of the capital should be such that provide less sum of capital cost. When designing the structure of the capital, an attempt is made for the purpose of decreasing the overall capital cost. Capital market situations. Market situations are inflexible. It may experience depression sometimes and sometimes it may experience boom. While share market are facing depression, the business should not issue any equity shares, and while there is a boom period in the market, it is very favorable for the sake of issuing equity shares. Structure of assets. When designing the structure of capital, the convertibility of assets should be kept in focus. If total assets contain more number of fixed assets, then it is very helpful for the business to get long duration debts. Reason of financing. Financing is very essential aspect of the activities of the business. Debt financing is acceptable for business that need funds for the sake of production. Equity investment is needed for long duration and it is favorable to go for the equity capital. Patterns of capital structure. When a company is analyzing what capital structure to adopt, it can opt for equity shares, capital structure with equity shares only. Equity plus preference shares, capital structure with equity and preference shares. Equity shares plus debentures, capital structure with equity shares and debentures. Equity shares, preference shares and debentures. Even the company can opt the option for combination of three: equity shares, preference shares and debentures. Factors affecting capital structure. Size of company. Small companies may have to rely on the founder's money, but as they grow, they will be eligible for long-term financing because larger companies are considered less risky by investors. Nature of business. If your business is a monopoly, you can go for debentures because your sales can give you adequate profit to pay your debts easily or pay dividends. Regularity of earnings. A firm with large and stable income may incur more debts in its capital structure, unlike the one that is unstable. Conditions of the money market. Capital markets are always changing. You can't or you don't want to issue company shares during a bear market. You do it when there is a bull run. Government policy. This is important to consider. A change in lending policy may increase your cost of borrowing. Cost of floating. The cost of floating equity is much higher than the of floating debt. This may influence the finance manager to take debt financing, the cheaper option. Debt equity ratio. As stated, debt is a liability whose interest has to be paid irrespective of earnings. Equity, on the other hand, is shareholders' money and payment depends on profits being paid. High debt in the capital structure is risky and may be a problem in adverse times. However, debt is cheaper than issuing shares. Debt interest has some tax deduction that is not the case for dividend paid to equity holders. I hope that today's session will be helpful to you. Please subscribe my channel, like and share my video. Click on bell button for future notification of my tutorials. With this, I end my session. Thank you.